Right. Hey, welcome back. Darwin Conley, Director of the Agent Performance and Development. Today, let's talk about seller disclosure statement. What we know is this is required that a homeowner who has a 1 to 4 family unit dwelling, it is required by the state of Michigan that this be completed. There is some exceptions to somebody completing the seller's disclosure statement. The clearest would be a trust where the trustee never lived in the home. Give it the clearest example of that is if somebody put a dwelling into a trust and they passed and a trustee was an attorney. That attorney's never been in this home, knows nothing about it. They are exempt, and as such, it is not necessary. They do not need to complete this. However, we know most of the people will. I want to again remind you that to put across never lived in is not disclosure. They're either exempt or they need to disclose. What someone who wants to put never lived in would do is go right on through and you can say, look, you check it out. But if you want to say, oops, it's unknown, I don't have any idea, great. But they're disclosing that they really don't know anything. However, I use the scenario that simply says this. An investor buys a home, puts a whole lot of work into it, then turns around and sells it. Guess what? They have knowledge and they are not exempt. For them and for us to allow them to put never lived in would not be properly representing them, and they could find themselves in a legal aspect of things they don't want to be in. So all that said, seller's disclosure statement, put it in front of them and ask them to complete it. It is in essential saying this. You are a homeowner. You are not a licensed electrician. You're not a contractor, a plumber, or heating contractor. You are none of the above. You are a homeowner. So as a homeowner, you know the furnace. You turn the thing up, you show how old I am. You turn it up and the heat comes on. When it reaches that temperature, it goes off. That's what I know. It doesn't mean that you're an electrician. You're not a professional. None of that is there. It's simply disclosing the knowledge that the seller has. Now, this may be a portion of the verbiage that you would give to a seller, but let them know, as it says here, this statement is not a warranty of any kind by the seller or by any agent representing the seller in a transaction, and is not a substitution for any inspection or warranties the buyer may wish to obtain. So that's a key part. But the seller does want to make sure that they are properly and fully disclosing. This information is disclosure only, let me restart that. This information is a disclosure only and is not intended to be a part of any contract between buyer and seller. Just because I've disclosed about a range, a dishwasher, and a refrigerator does not mean it's included on a purchase agreement. I need you to remember that because that's essentially what this is stating. All right. Matter of fact, I want you to catch this. Oh, remember this one. It's great that it's here. Appliances, systems, and services. The items below are in working order. The items listed below are included in the sale of the property only if, I wish I could underline this for you, only if the purchase agreement so provides. So there's the full in writing disclosure. It's got to be on the purchase agreement. Just because it's disclosed that it works doesn't mean it's included. Remember that one. Somebody doesn't know that, and you're likely to run into them at some point. Now, here's what I want you to catch, and you need to instruct your sellers as they complete this. They're going to look at the range and oven, and they're going to say, yes, it works, or no, it doesn't work. I don't know if it works. I don't have one, or I'm not leaving one. That would be not available. What you as an agent need to watch for is a mistake that sellers make as they complete this. It's saying not available, but guess what they do? They say no, they check no, when in reality, what they should have done was to actually click on not available. So I do this. By the way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is the seller's disclosure statement. It's required by the state of Michigan. It is saying simply that you are a homeowner, and here's what I know in regards to the function of these systems. So simply it's, yes, it works. No, it doesn't work. Or I don't know if it works, or it's not available. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, as you complete this, make sure that you're not checking no when what you really mean is not available. Now, the other thing I would give you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is simply this. If you find yourself going, well, I think, well, when I shut it off 2 years ago, the sprinkling system, if you're going, I think, then what might be your best answer? And they'll actually say unknown. So there's nothing wrong with being unknown, but they need to know, yes, it works, or no, it doesn't work. If they don't know, this might be their best answer, and that is the way that I put it to them. Otherwise, if it doesn't exist, it is not available. And guys, let's see, if I go through, where do I give you? If anything needs explanation, they can put it here. If they need additional papers, they can attach it to this document. All right. But again, unless otherwise agreed, all household appliances are sold in working order, except as noted, without warranty beyond date of closing. You own them the day of closing. If I have 30 days possession, they go bad. Sorry. That's why we do inspections when we represent buyers. I want to give you caution as they get down to the basement or crawl space. Has there been evidence of water? Any water? Seepage or otherwise? Yes? Explain. So any water. And that's where I would make sure that they answer. Disclose, disclose, disclose. Insulation. Describe if it's known. Gang, most people don't know. I got to tell you that I can't say for sure what's in my walls because I wasn't there when they built it. I think I know, but I really don't know. Do I have urea formaldehyde foam insulation? Most of us don't even know what it is, let alone explain what it is. What will they check most of the time? And it's okay, because look, either you know it does or you know it doesn't. But if you don't know yes or no, unknown might be their best answer. Roof leaks. That's it. That's the question. Are there leaks? Yes or no? Gang, they know that. Approximate age of the roof, if they know. More often than not, they don't know. If there is a well, what is the type of well? Do they know anything regarding it? They would put that in here. Self-explanatory. Has the water ever been tested? If yes, what was the date and what was the last report? Maybe they actually provide it with the disclosures. Maybe. Don't need to, but Maybe. Oh, by the way, this document we put in their hands, they complete it. We don't do anything. Septic tank drain field, that's a simple one. Heating, approximate age and type. Plumbing system, they may ask you to check it out. If it's an obvious where you can see it, guide them. If you don't know, don't help them. Of course, the only other after that is, are there any known problems with the plumbing? Are there any known leaks? But again, full plumbing system, the full heating system, and they will ask you. Just help them know that's full heating system, full plumbing system. The electrical system, same thing. You have any problems? You got a breaker that constantly trips? Let's see, what else could you have? Is there a bad wall switch, bad wall socket? Typically, again, they've got nothing that they know of any problems. This is a tricky one. History of infestation, because it gives them the thought of bugs. Have I ever had bugs anywhere in my house? Well, here's an example of infestation, and it happens, and very common. Bats. Have you ever had bats? Now, if you know that there's a history of it, they need to disclose that. Critters, squirrels can get up there. So all it says is history of infestation. It doesn't say what type. So make sure that you might give them a little bit of guidance toward that. Environmental problems. Are you aware of any substances, materials, products that may be environmental hazard, such as but not limited to asbestos, radon gas, formaldehyde, lead-based paint, fuel, chemical storage tanks, contaminated soil? So it gives them ideas, but again, such as but not limited to. If they know it, disclose, disclose, disclose. I can tell you a lot of people will check unknown. Leave it up to them. Do you know? Do you not know? If you're saying no, you're saying I am not aware. That's an easy one, but still a lot of people will say no. But again, are you aware of any? I'm not. That's a simple no, but it could be unknown. If so, explain. Do you have flood insurance on the property? That's a simple one. And by the way, some people don't even know. State of Michigan, they typically know, because if there's flood insurance, their insurance is much higher. You own the mineral rights. Most people, I don't know. I don't even know on mine. I got a 1 acre lot. I have no idea. Let's see. Are you aware of any of the following features of property shared? You'll get some questions on that, but it's a self-explanatory. Any encroachments that you're known of, common areas? Well, this would be in potentially homeowners associations. They might have playgrounds, entrances. If it's a true condominium, there's definitely going to be some common ground. Structural modification, alterations, or repairs made without necessary permits or licensed contractors. Again, it's self-explanatory. Settling, flooding, major damage, underground storage tanks, farm or farm operation in the vicinity or proximity to a landfill, airport, shooting range. It doesn't even say how far, but typically it's not an issue. So I have, as a crow flies, a sportsman's club, which has shooting range, race course, things of this nature at it. I would probably disclose that, yeah, the Waterford Sportsman Club is approximately 1 mile away as a crow flies. It's not going to stop anybody from buying my house. But I've disclosed, covered my tail. Any pending litigation, any municipal assessments, check this, make sure that you're watching for this, because this is where you need to get the answers to those questions that we talk about. Because if there's municipal assessments and they need to be paid, there's not an option. They need to know that, because that's going to affect their bottom line, what they're walking away with. If they're selling to buy, it may impact their ability to be able to purchase, and they not have any repercussions. Make sure you got all the information. Room for the explanation. Seller has lived in a residence on the property from until. Seller has owned the property. So those are two different things. Has lived in it, I've owned it. Because I may have owned it, but never lived in it. Sellers indicated, anyway, the rest is all pretty much self-explanatory. I hope you guys don't mean me just being friends with you here. I think the rest of this is self-explanatory. Have the seller sign and date it at the time period that you've taken the listing and they've completed it. Again, this is at the time of listing. This will then be posted to the MLS in the docs. From there, when a buyer decides to make an offer, their agent will download these documents. They'll be put in hand and they will end up signing. So if you are representing the buyer, here's the simple part to this. Put it in their hands. You may do a little bit of review, see if there's anything out of the ordinary that you want to make sure that they know, and then simply have them sign. All right, guys, I think that's it for this document. I hope you have had a fantastic day so far. Let me just say this. Be productive. Go talk to people. We'll see you soon.